Good morning, everyone. I am, excuse me, my allergies are kicking up today, but I am so excited for today's Coffee and Conversation. We're featuring a special guest who does not live in Kansas, but has some nutrition advocacy to share with the world. So I'm very excited to have her join us today. Let me get her plugged into the Instagram Live. Drumroll. Maybe. There she is. Hello.
Hi there.
How are you? I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome.
Good. Well, I've got my it's actually tea this morning, not coffee. But I've got a drink. Excellent. Perfect. And I'm so excited. This is our first time actually talking. I know we've DM'd each other a lot, and I've been kind of following your journey within the Miss America organization. But I'm really excited to introduce you to all of our followers on the podcast and on the Instagram Live. So would you mind just doing a quick introduction, telling us who you are and what you're about?
Of course. So my name is Lauren Mroczek, and I'm from a small town in Michigan called Mattawan, and it's in Southwest Michigan, which is the title I'm competing for, which is kind of funny since you're Miss Southwest Kansas. I currently attend Grand Valley State University, where I am studying biomedical science, but I emphasize nutrition science since there's not like a nutrition major for undergrads. And I'm a part of the Laker dance team at Grand Valley, and I spend a lot of my free time volunteering my community and participating in MAO, hanging out with a lot of my new sister queen friends. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So what made you decide to go into biomedical science emphasis in nutrition?
So I grew up with a mother who worked at Pfizer, and she still does work at Pfizer. So I've just been into sciencey things my entire life. I live out in the country, so I love nature, bugs, everything science related. And I took a course in high school that was new at the time called Principles of Biomedical Science, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. We got to do all sorts of different biomedical science, like forensics. It was mainly some forensics things and blood work and DNA things. And it was a really great experience. And I thought, maybe this is something I might want to go into. So I took some more science classes, and I discovered that Grand Valley offered a really good biomedical science program. And as I continued my education over the years, I discovered that nutrition was a really awesome and most really important part of being a human, and I would love to study the science of it. So I kind of combined those two things and studied biomedical science and then nutrition science as well.
Right, because everyone has to eat, so we might as well eat well.
Exactly.
So I, like I said, I've been following your journey kind of on Instagram, and I really love the videos that you make as part of your nutrition advocacy. So can you tell the viewers a little bit about that and how you got started making these Instagram reels and TikToks and things?
Yeah. So I had created my Instagram account about a year and a half ago because even though I haven't had the opportunity to have a title yet with MAO, I thought it was really important to get out on social media and advocate for myself and just really build up a following behind me. And I really wanted to start some kind of online campaign towards education. So I started a #Tasty Tuesday where I pick a fruit or vegetable or some kind of whole food every single week and focus on the benefits, the top 3 facts for that fruit item. And then eventually it developed into another segment called Recipe Saturday, where I started creating videos and finding recipes to give some people the opportunity to try something new, to try cooking with that food item, and to maybe discover something that they like, and to get some more of those nutrients from that food item I've been educating about for that week.
I love that so much. One, I'm a fan of just cooking videos and cooking TV. I've always loved them. So, excuse me, the fact that you're doing that on an accessible platform like Instagram, I think has really opened the door for the next generation of college students and high school students who maybe don't cook or go grocery shopping yet, but they need to learn that eventually. Start that education.
Yeah,
so
the recipe, the more access people can have to it. It has. I try to pick something that has fewer ingredients, something that wouldn't cost a lot, or something you can buy in bulk as well. So I think one of the most recent ones I was able to make on my own was a blueberry yogurt parfait. It just had yogurt, blueberries, your choice of granola. That was it, and it was so good. It's so easy.
Oh, I love that. And speaking of buying in bulk, buying cheaper food, I've seen you post a couple pictures at farmers markets.
Yeah.
And just this week, we are wrapping up National Farmers Market Week, where we celebrate local growers and producers and the opportunity to shop and eat local. So, can you tell us about farmers markets in your area and just how you got involved in that kind of industry?
Yeah. So growing up, I loved farmers markets. I thought they were just a great activity to do on Saturday mornings. And as I got into MAO, and I was very interested in working with farmers markets, so I recently became a vendor at my local farmers market, Madawan Market. And I decided to educate there, and I figured people are there anyway to just maybe like look around, kill some time. So if I'm there educating, maybe they'll go stop at the booth next to me and grab a couple tomatoes or cucumbers and support local businesses as well. It's a great way to stimulate our economy, have a really healthy community, and also just a really great experience overall. And yeah, farmers markets are just a great way over the summer months to advocate for fresh, healthy eating at a low cost and being able to support like local businesses too.
Absolutely. I just went to my local farmers market yesterday morning, and I was reminded how great of a community building event farmers markets are. Like, not only does it help the economy, not only does it increase access to nutritional goods for you to cook and eat and support the local economy, but we also had artists out there and
Right.
musicians playing, and people were just milling about in the outdoors. Experiencing what it's like to be a part of a community. And I think that's my favorite part of farmers markets is not only are you building those relationships with local businesses, but you're building it as a community at large. And so
Yeah.
I just love farmers markets. I
Yeah.
love that people can become a vendor for anything. So like sharing your educational resources at a farmers market, that's excellent branding. That's excellent access. I love that for you.
And I decided to pass out a free recipe as well at my booth, so it
Sorry.
included some of the fruit at the farmers market. They could go around, grab some of those ingredients they need for that recipe, go home and cook it, and it's awesome. Yeah, like you mentioned, like there's musicians, crafts, like, and it's just a great community builder. And especially with COVID going on and the world opening back up, it's a great outdoor event too, and it gives you a really good sense of community, especially in small and also large communities as well.
Exactly. The one I went to is in Wichita. It's the largest city in the state of Kansas. And so it was a huge farmers market. I think there were 75 vendors there. Quite a variety of
That's
different
huge.
different vegetables and fruits. And one booth was making I think gluten-free like French macarons, and they were delicious. I got some orange ones, and there
Wow.
was like I said, artists. There were people making macrame plant hangers, and there were people making non-toxic watercolor paints. My mom bought some of those yesterday. And so it's
That's
just amazing just to like go to a farmer's market and see what people are doing with their time outside of Saturday mornings and bringing it here to one, make money and stimulate the economy, but also to share their passions with other people, which I just love.
It's awesome. Farmers markets are probably one of my favorite things to do over the summer, and they don't really cost anything to do unless you're going to like buy some things there. But you could easily just walk around, introduce yourself, just see kind of what's out in your community, discover some new things, new businesses, just grow connections, which I've been able to do. I've been able to grow connections with the producer of our farmers market and just all the vendors. I go around, chat with all of them, buy something from all of them, and it's a great way to just connect with people around you.
It really is. And that networking, we've kind of talked about the Miss America organization and a little bit about your social impact initiative, which is what I want to kind of pivot to. We're already on it, but kind of pivot directly to that next. But what advice do you have for maybe someone who's interested in getting to a farmer's market and making those connections? Do you have any advice you'd like to share with them?
Yeah. So if you're just looking to go just walk around a farmer's market, it is a really good resource. Like if you're not really sure like where to go or kind of like, are there any in my community? There's a great website. It is, what was it? I had it pulled up the other day, but it was like a Michigan. I posted it here. How about this? I posted it on my Instagram. It's the very first photo I posted. So go there. The link is in that photo. And it's just the Michigan Farmers Market Association's website, and you can go type in your zip code, what city you're from. It'll pull up farmers markets that they have on their file, and it'll take you right to them. So that is a really great way to find a farmer's market around you and get involved there. And if you're kind of nervous about going to a farmer's market and trying to make connections, a great way is just to go up and ask the booth about kind of what they're selling, kind of how they got started. Just some small talk is a great way to lead into a larger conversation and to make larger connections over time.
Absolutely. I love that advice. And that's translatable across like not just farmers markets, just about anything. Just start those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So let's talk about your social impact initiative. Tell us what it is specifically and give us like a 30-second elevator pitch or some kind of descriptor.
Yeah. So my overarching goal for my social impact initiative is just to promote the standardized consumption of more fruits and vegetables. Typically, about 5 fruits or vegetables a day is where you want to be to promote good health. And furthermore, my goal is to kind of increase the health status of communities around Michigan and eventually around the United States, because surprisingly, only 9 out of 10 people in the United States, they don't consume enough fruits and vegetables, which only means 1 person out of every 10 gets enough fruits and vegetables they need every day. And this spreads over all socioeconomic statuses, whether you're upper, middle, or lower class. It's a widespread pandemic throughout our entire state, and lots of chronic diseases stem from not consuming enough fruits and vegetables. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the United States, and even though some cardiovascular diseases are genetic or just higher risk because you're genetic, a lot of it is not, and it's very influenced by our diet, how we eat, what we consume, and because a lot of fruits and vegetables contain vitamins, minerals, just everything and anything we need to keep ourselves healthy. And yeah, so basically just the goal of my social impact initiative is to consume more fruits and vegetables in order to have an increased higher health status and to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and other chronic diseases.
That is so important. I was just yesterday at it was called Foodie Fest in a town called Hutchinson here in Kansas, and they invited vendors for a farmer's market. They brought in speakers to talk about nutrition and agriculture and horticulture. And one of the speakers I was talking to mentioned agriculture education. So just kind of what you're doing, talking to kids and sharing like, hey, did you realize that cucumbers are indeed something that grows out of the ground? Because someone was like talking, they did a study. I want to say it was, I don't remember who did the study. Someone did a study somewhere, and I will look it up to fact check myself. But they were polling 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students at urban city schools, and they would ask them like, where do like vegetables come from? Where does the meat from a hamburger come from? And like 60% of students didn't know that a hamburger was made from a cow. They didn't know the line of how food went through the food processing and distribution channels, and they didn't realize that like pickles were cucumbers once, or some of those other things, and they don't really think about eating fruits and vegetables in their raw form, or 1 step removed, like boiled or whatever.
Right. Yeah, usually it's the potato is the French fry, and that's all they know typically.
Exactly. And I love that you're working to increase people's knowledge about getting those 5 servings of not as processed 5 fruits and vegetables a day. Like potato chips don't count.
Right. Ketchup doesn't count as a tomato.
Exactly. And sharing like also these accessible recipes that are easy to duplicate and replicate in your own home, because when you aren't exposed to it, I mean, I'm from Kansas. There's farmland all around. I feel like if we polled 4th graders, they would know where cucumbers come from, right? They would know that. Exactly. But exactly, there needs to be some kind of educational system so we're all on the same playing field, so that we can start to address those larger systemic issues of cardiovascular health and start to mitigate that with our diet and those chronic diseases that you mentioned, because really you are what you eat, right?
Exactly. That is my #1 favorite saying. I wanted to make it into a t-shirt, to be honest. It's literally, you are what you eat. If you don't eat well, if you don't really take time to think about what you're putting into your body, then you're not going to be at your full potential. But if you do think about what you're eating, you take time to like meal prep, go to the grocery store, pick out fruits and vegetables for the week, you will be at your A game for the week, you know? So
I love that. And so I struggle with meal prep, so I'm shamelessly going to use the next couple of questions to pick your brain. And hopefully someone else benefits from this line of questioning too. But when you go to the grocery store and you think about meal prepping, what do you look for?
Mm-hmm. So I struggle with meal prepping too. Sometimes I run out of time and I just don't have time. But when I do have time, I'm able to like store things, freeze things. It is really important to me to, I guess, look for the fruits and vegetables that are the best quality so that they're good when you get them and they will stay good for the rest of the week. And also, don't be afraid to buy in bulk. Like if you only need like one pepper or one cucumber for your recipe, just grab a few more and cut them up, put them in the fridge, and then if you're not going to use them by the end of the week, put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer so you can use them for another time. Like there's a mindset when you're going to the store to, I don't know, just take your time. Don't go exactly what you're looking for. Kind of just look throughout all the sections, I guess, of the fresh produce aisle, and just really take time to think about later in the week as well. Like not just for now, but for later. And even if you don't have time, a lot of fruits and vegetables stay good in the fridge or even out in a fruit bowl for a few days. And even if you don't have time at that specific moment, but you will have time in a few days, just grab a week so you're able to get everything prepped and ready for later in the week. And you're able to eat those fruits and vegetables when you want to, and you won't just throw them away.
So go in with a plan. Go in with a plan.
Exactly.
Okay. So I heard a tip once that was saying, like, if you want to start eating more nutritious, more intentional with your diet, that when you go around the grocery store, you should stick to the outside edges where all the produce is versus the kind of inside aisles. Is that true? What are your thoughts on that?
That is actually the first time I've heard that, but based on that, I think that is a great idea because just me thinking about my local hometown grocery store, I walk in, immediately on my right, there's fruits, vegetables, herbs, everything. And then you walk towards the back and there's more of like the fresher, like deli cut meats that they have. And sometimes the deli even has like fresh fruit and vegetable, like fruit salad, pasta salad, just some good stuff they make. And you walk in the back, there's dairy, cheese, yogurt, milk, like even like a milk if you're lactose intolerant or something. But yeah, and then there's eggs, cheese, yogurt, just everything around that's not processed on the outside. So yeah, the middle aisles definitely are more processed food.
And I don't remember where I heard that. I think I just heard it once and it's been stuck in my head ever since. And it's something that I've kind of kept in mind as I try to eat more nutritious meals. Because I have a chronic illness, and so it's important to me that I am keeping myself, maintaining my nutrition and taking care of myself, that I can keep being my best self. So, what is now this is going to be kind of a speed round. What's your favorite vegetable?
I absolutely love tomatoes. They're my favorite. I have little tomatoes on my shirt, actually, right here.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I also love tomatoes.
I just love them. Yeah, because you can put them on a pizza, put them in pasta sauce. Because also that is another great way to get lots of fruits and veggies. Blend up like peppers, onions, tomatoes in a blender, and you can make your homemade like marinara sauce. And you can even just eat tomatoes plain. There's so many different varieties of tomatoes. Like I personally love them, and you can put them on a sandwich, on a burger, anything, just to get a little bit of extra veggies in your day.
I've been a big fan of like making power bowls so that I just throw a bunch of vegetables in there and some protein and like some rice or something.
Right.
I make a Mediterranean one and I put like 18 tomatoes on it. I love tomatoes so much.
Yeah. See, the Mediterranean diet is like the all-time best diet for fruits and vegetables. So also if anybody's looking to try to eat more healthy and they're trying to find a diet that works for them, try to do the Mediterranean diet. There's so much information online about it, and it's very fruit and vegetable and like really healthy with monounsaturated fats like olive oil.
Wow, so clever. Who would have thought the Mediterranean diet has it all? I mean, I love hummus anyway, so like, yeah, I can't go wrong with the
Yeah.
Mediterranean diet. So, okay, what's your favorite fruit then? If you like tomatoes, what's your favorite fruit?
Oh, my favorite fruit. I see all fruits are like my absolute favorite, but my number one pick is sweet cherries. It has to be just because they're they're the best in the summertime, and you can like go out and pick them and like have a good time and pick them off the trees. But their health benefits are just like unfathomable. It's great. Like I know or sweet cherries have this really great like antioxidant properties. Just they have a super dark, rich color that provides us with like many. I don't like they're so hard to say, but there's just so many antioxidants that are provided by cherries, and they're great for your digestive system as well. And just they've been able to like research has shown they've had a lot of like health benefits for just improving different chronic illnesses as well. Just kind of just helping a little bit, and besides their health benefits, they just taste awesome. So
I love that. I'll have to find some sweet cherries and try them. I'm not usually a cherry person, but then again, I don't actually remember the last time I ate a cherry that wasn't like a maraschino cherry that's been super processed and coated in syrup or
right,
like cherry flavoring. So that's
right,
my
sweet
to-do
cherries.
list is to find some sweet cherries.
Yep,
Good.
they're
Okay.
naturally like they could be a dessert if you really wanted them to. Like a bunch of different. I just love to eat them just for a snack as well. But
All right. I will put it on my grocery list then.
yes.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing to cook? Because you make these recipe videos and you share a lot of education. What is your favorite meal that you've cooked?
Mm-hmm. So I always love making anything with chicken just because it's a leaner meat and it is so versatile. And one thing I like to do is just cook chicken in bulk. And one recipe that I actually haven't been able to try yet, but I really want to is my boyfriend's mom's crock pot chicken. And basically, you just stick it in the crock pot with a bunch of different spices. I'll have to ask him for the recipe later, and then you can take it out, cut it into slices, shred it. You can make like pulled chicken tacos or like a protein power bowl, like you mentioned earlier. It's so versatile. Just cooking chicken and then being able to make many different recipes with it is just one of my favorite things to do. So
That's really smart for meal prepping, like we talked about earlier. If someone was looking for a good tip, I think that is one. Make
right,
your protein in advance and then add your fruits and vegetables throughout the week. So that way
right,
I get really caught up in eating like for some reason I have in my mind that when I meal prep I have to eat the same thing every day. But that
yeah.
doesn't have to be the case, right?
That is a very common misconception. I know on TikTok right now it's really popular, all the meal prep videos that you see, and it's like the same thing every single week. But in reality, you could change it up if you wanted to. If you have the time and like you really want to have something different every day, you could make one huge batch of protein. Like you could have chicken throughout the entire week, but switch up the veggies, switch up kind of your grains. Like instead of doing like brown rice, you could do quinoa or like a whole wheat like bread bun or something. Like there's just so many different options and you can do, especially when you meal prep your protein like that. And as well as when you cut up your veggies and your fruits like prior to that, you can just go in your fridge. You're like, okay, I'll have chicken today. I got some brown rice ready. And instead of peppers and cucumbers, maybe I'll do tomatoes and red onions today. So it's just, it's one of my favorite recipes to do like bulk chicken, and you can also make a lot of different meal prep recipes as well.
I love that. So I have another question about kind of meal prep, but you mentioned it earlier about like making your own marinara sauce with lots of veggies. What do you
Right.
think about smoothies? Is that kind of something you can do similar?
Yes. Smoothies, love them. You can even add veggies in your smoothie. Like I'm pretty sure it's like 3 handfuls or 3 cups of spinach is one serving. But when you blend it up in a smoothie, it may be green, but you cannot taste it.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure for one of my previous Tasty Tuesday recipes, I'll share it on my story later. I did spinach, and it was a smoothie that had spinach in it, and it was absolutely amazing. You can get and spinach is really great is for the different amount of vitamins they have and it's great for supporting your immune system. And you put spinach, your veggies in there. I know people put green apples. They even put celery in there. You can do strawberries, pineapples, oranges, different juices. Like, you can put sweet cherry juice in there. Like, smoothies are probably the be-all of getting enough fruits and vegetables in your diet. But, I mean, I wouldn't recommend drinking smoothies every single day, but
Right.
it is, like, in the
A
morning,
good
it's
treat.
like, right. Like, every morning, like, if you just want to get your boost of veggies and fruits for the day, just make yourself a quick smoothie, and you're on your way. Like, you can take it in the car on the way to work or on the way to school. And I have also seen lots of videos on meal prepping smoothies as well. You just, like, if you have one of those ball mason jars, you can take one of those, fill it up with, like, for example, like a handful of spinach, strawberries, pineapples, peaches, and then stick it in your fridge. And then the next morning, you just get it out, dump it in your blender with a little bit of juice of choice, and blend it up, and you're good to go. Like, so you can even meal prep smoothies as well.
Wow, that's so clever. I never would have thought of that, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, yeah. So my thoughts on smoothies are that they're the end all, be all, like, probably my favorite way to get all your fruits and veggies in for the day.
That's
Or
awesome. Yeah, a good chunk. So yesterday I do have to brag about the event that I was at, that Foodie Fest thing.
it looks so fun.
It was so much fun. They had this smoothie bike. So it was this bike, it only had one wheel, and when you pedaled, the wheel would power a blender and you could make your own smoothie by pedaling. And I was
You're
like, I need this in my house because what better way to get your cardio in and your vegetables and your fruits of the day than to blend your own smoothie with a bike.
That's so
So
cool.
I was obsessed with it. I looked them up online. The one they had was like $3,000. So I was like, maybe I won't buy that one. But they make attachments that you can put on your own bicycle and you can pedal and stuff. So I might save up my money to get one of those. I don't know if I'll use it as much as I use like my bullet blender, but
Right.
it's a
That's
cool
still such
novelty.
a cool thing, especially like at like a fun event like that. It's just a really fun way to get people interested in like making smoothies and getting your fruits and vegetables in for the day. Like that's a great
Exactly.
idea. I've never heard of that.
And they did it as like a fundraiser. So like it could be if you got one, not saying that you need to spend $3,000 on this bike
Maybe
thing,
I'll get
but
donations.
exactly, if someone bought one for you, you could bring it to your farmer's market and have people make smoothies while you talk about your education. And I think I thought it was a genius idea, and
That
I was
is
like,
a
how
good
do I
idea.
get one?
I'll keep that in my brain for the future.
Yeah, make your own smoothie powered or bike powered smoothie maker,
Yeah, my
whatever.
brother's here, so he could definitely think something up. So
There you go. There you go. Use your resources wisely. So I want to talk a little bit more about we've hit a little on the Miss America organization, and we've alluded to it a couple of different times. But for viewers who aren't aware, the Miss America organization is one of the largest scholarship providers to young women in the world.
yeah.
That's how I got my engineering degree. I paid for it with scholarships from the Miss America organization, and you are attending college. I'm assuming you're trying to get some good scholarships to help pay the bill for that, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I do have scholarships from like my school, but I do have to take out loans, and currently I have about $5,000 of loans, which is still a big chunk of change. And I started competing in the Miss America organization in 2019 after like my high school pageant. I loved it, and through that organization in my high school, I was like, we fundraise for our own scholarships. We go around and ask for business sponsors. But over the 2 years, I was able to earn over $6,000 in scholarships, and I got to put that towards my education. And it was awesome. And I was wanting to get more into pageants outside of high school, and I stumbled upon a Miss America organization in 2017, but I didn't have the guts to do it on my own. I knew not a single person in that organization, but I learned more about it. I learned about the sisterhood, scholarships, literally everything I could ever dream of. And finally in 2019, the dates lined up with my schedule, and I finally got the guts just to enter into the Miss Southwest Michigan pageant. But due to a lack of participation, because we are a small area, we had to combine with the Miss Sunset Coast, and which is the open pageant connected to the closed. And I ended up placing first runner up, which was a huge, huge thing for me because I didn't think I would be able to accomplish that. And that solidified my drive to continue on in the Miss America organization. And ever since COVID hit, I made it a goal for myself to do every single pageant that I possibly can in order to earn scholarships, like you mentioned, and be able to pay off my student loans, maybe get a master's degree in the future, and also to earn my dream title of Miss, which is Miss Southwest, since that's where I'm from, and go compete at Miss Michigan with all of my new friends that I created.
Oh, I love that so much. And from one Miss Southwest Kansas to hopefully a future Miss Southwest Michigan, I'm wishing you all the best of luck. But I don't really even need to wish you luck because after interviewing you today, I'm like sold that you're a phenomenal candidate, and I can't wait to see how it turns out for you because
Yeah,
I'm in your corner. I'll
yeah.
root you on from all the way from here.
One of these years it will happen.
Yes, exactly. And I love that tenacity and determination to keep going because that's what life is about, right? Like just
Yes.
you're going to face obstacles, you're going to face failures, but you can't just quit and give up on them. The failures are meant to help you grow and learn and become a better version of yourself. So I love that that's what your mission has been, to enter all of these pageants to grow and develop each time. Because that's what it's all about.
I used to be afraid of public speaking. I would get up in front of, like, at least in high school, in front of my class, and I'd be like shaking, and I could like feel my bones like shaking, and it was a horrible experience for me. But then I decided just to take a leap of faith, join the Miss America organization, and now I feel confident in my ability to clearly think, deliver clear answers, and even though I do have a stutter here and there, like a normal human would, I am confident in my speaking abilities, and I don't get nervous anymore. And it's a great experience. Like talking to you now, like I'm able to have a clear conversation. And also for those of you who are interviewing for jobs or are going to be, I don't know, maybe applying for, I'm not sure if like for medical schools or you have to interview or whatnot, but like it's just a great interview experience for the real world. So.
Absolutely. I can't talk enough about the interview experience. Like if we had to cut everything else away and just focus on one, I think the interview experience has been the part for me to learn the most about myself and develop those speaking skills and communication skills because I'm very grateful that thanks to I definitely attribute this to the Miss America organization. In any job that I've interviewed for, I've been able to get that job. And I know that's because of the Miss America organization.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to help me articulate what I'm thinking and help me build my skills. Like you said, you went out and fundraised and talked to businesses. That's a skill set that not a lot of high schoolers, college age women have if they're not a part of an organization like the Miss America organization. So being a part of something as big as this and as impactful as the Miss America organization really helps you grow and develop skills that set you apart from peers. And so I love that you're a part of it. I love that that's what kind of brought us together all the way across the country. But
I was actually close by you.
I loved that you were just a state away, Missouri. Can I ask what you did in Missouri?
Yeah, we just visited Branson. My dad really wanted to go see the shows there, and they're really, really fun. So we just hiked around some of the Ozark Mountains up there, visited shows, just kind of hung out together as a family. So
it's a beautiful area up there. So I'm really glad that you had a good time visiting my kind of corner of the country. But what is your number one place to visit? Like talking about kind of nature, you mentioned loving bugs and the great outdoors and everything, and hiking. What is your favorite place to visit? And what advice would you give for someone who's interested in the great outdoors?
Yeah. So I'm impartial to this area, but my all-time favorite place has to be in Michigan, up north, as the Upper Peninsula. It is just the most like scenic, beautiful dream. Tequamanen Falls is probably my favorite. It's way up. Like I don't know which way it is on your screen, but up in the Upper Peninsula, and it's like way up at the top along Lake Superior here. The water is just this beautiful amber golden brown, and it's just gorgeous. And the camping is great, and the hiking is even better. And my number one tip is to buy a good pair of hiking boots. That's what saved me because some of the terrain's a little rocky, and investing in a good pair of hiking boots will allow you to keep hiking as much as you want instead of being like, oh, my feet hurt, and you have to go back and not explore as much as you want. And being in a good mood the entire time you're outdoors, thanks to a good pair of hiking boots, it really makes or break your experience out there. So
I love that. I love that a lot. I have not ever been to Michigan. I think I've flown through it, but I have not yet been to Michigan. So it's been on my list because honestly, following you and all of the other Michigan title holders posting just this is my front yard, like all of the beautiful scenery that Michigan is. It's like I have to go there now. I have to like experience like all the lakes and the nature, and it just makes me really excited. Not that Kansas isn't great. Kansas has its own beauty, but there's value in traveling to other places.
Yes. Michigan is definitely worthwhile to check out. Mackinac Island's great. A lot of them are the beautiful, like picturesque scenery is going to be up north. Like also like Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore is another great area to visit, and pretty much if you go right up to the top of the top mitten, I guess, there's just so much to do right along there, and you could stay up there for like an entire month and not run out of things to do.
So book a lot of time is what you're telling me when I come visit. Stay for a while.
Yeah. You need some time to clear your mind. Michigan, like the great outdoors, pure Michigan is a great place to go. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. So we've talked a lot about nutrition. We've talked about scholarships, the Miss America organization. We talked a little bit about travel and tourism now, having people come visit. So what is something that we haven't yet talked about that you do want to make sure the people know, either about you, your SII, or something entirely different?
Yeah. So I feel like we've touched on a lot of things regarding my social impact initiative. But one project I really want to talk about that I've done on my own for the very first time is a project called Growing Gardens for Growing Minds. And it is just my way to help people in my community, whether they are in need or whether they just want to educate themselves and give their family an activity to do. It's just my way of getting more fruits and vegetables out there in the community, and to also help promote like activism outside, kind of getting people familiar with what they're growing, give them a sense of pride and reward with what they're growing and eating, and give them also a more nutritious activity to do at home over the summer. And so basically in that kit I provided, and of course this year I'm going to be making some updates, adding some things in just as I've learned some things over the years and with my past experience. But the most recent one I did had some like trifolds with information, how to grow gardens, how to grow seeds, kind of what seeds are, just some basic information. And I also included lots of seed packets. And this year it was a kind of like make your own requests and I'll pack them for you. But I decided that because it is going to be on a larger scale next year, and I'll just make like different options for people to pick from. But this year I was able to help over 400 people in my community, and I was able to raise $1,000 on my own, which is like a huge accomplishment for me. And like I didn't have
phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. And I'm still shocked by it every time I talk about it, because I have so many people in my community to thank. Like there's a 4th grade teacher. Her name's Kathy Sills. She is probably one of my biggest supporters. I've danced with her daughter since I've been 2, and she wanted to get me involved in the school system, Madawan Later Elementary. So as a part of my Growing Gardens for Growing Minds project, I recorded a Loom video for all the teachers in that school system. I recorded a separate video for the students to watch, and I provided, I think, at least 10 classrooms with kits. I think there were just a few seeds since they are younger and just getting into the gardening. I think I put in carrots and I think cantaloupe as the other, like I put one fruit, one vegetable in there, and gave them kids activities as well, with little fun facts, and it was like a big coloring page. And so I got the school involved, I got my community involved, and I got a lot of people behind me supporting me and giving me donations that allowed me to put this together. So that was just one project I've been able to do. And this year I'm hoping, because of COVID, it was me and my mom going around to deliver these in people's mailboxes. or putting them in the post office. So I'm hoping this year I'll be able to do local pickups just because people are starting to get vaccines and like still wearing their masks. So local pickups will be a huge thing. And so I won't have to spend a lot of the donations on shipping, and I'll be able to provide some more information, provide bigger packets. So I'm hoping to do a lot more things with that. And of course, anybody who is listening to this, I'm so open to different ideas of something that you might want to see in the packet, something that you're interested in. I would love to hear about it because even last year, I got connected with some community gardens in my area that wanted to have a couple seed packet kits to plant in their own community garden space. So that was really fun, and I even made a connection with the United Christian Services in Paw Paw, Michigan. And so that they're the ones that own the community garden in Paw Paw, but they also have a learning kitchen and lots of different educational resources that I'm starting to get in contact with about starting it back up. Because now that COVID's over, we can start having people in person again. We're going to get together, and hopefully I can teach a couple classes about maybe how to cook, just different educational resources. So yeah, so basically just if I could leave you guys with what the last thing I talk about would be this project that I've done, Growing Gardens for Growing Minds, and just how many people I've impacted and all the connections I've been able to make as well.
I love that project a lot. So can I ask you some details about it? Because I'm really interested. I really like the idea of it. How did you decide the seed packets to send? Like, did you have those donated or did you purchase them? What did you do there?
Yeah, so originally I wanted to get donations because I wanted to be able to give people like the full seed packets. But after calling around different places and doing some more research, I decided that a bulk seed place would be the best. So I was actually visiting my grandma because she lives in Peoria, Illinois, and there's a bulk seed place down there. So I decided to go there just to check it out. They had bulk seeds of pretty much anything you can ask for, and it was so cost efficient. Like it was probably one of the best things that I've thought of during this project. And because I was able to buy bulk seeds, I got those little coin envelopes kind of.
Yeah.
So with my boyfriend Hunter and my parents, we created an assembly line, put in a scoop in each bag, folded them, stapled them, put them in the envelopes. So basically that's how we did the seed packets this year. And I know a few at Menards and some places they had sales on seed packets, so I took advantage of that, like a 49-cent seed packet. Of course, I'm buying all of them. So
right.
I did that. So some people got full seed packets, and then I also provided the bulk seed things as well. And so that's basically what I did for the seeds.
That's awesome. So is there a way that people let me rewind. I'll ask that question in a second. What is your timeline for sending out these packets? Like, do you do it? What's the timeline? How can people sign up? How can they get their packet and still be in harvest season?
Right. Yeah. So, this year that is also one thing I need to change as well. Because basically this first year was kind of an experimental round, just to kind of just see how it'll go, and I think this upcoming year I'm going to start, the collection of seeds and putting together kits way earlier. I think this year, so I sent them out January, February, April, the end of April. Okay. I think is when I started sending them out. But I think this year I want to start sending them out in the beginning of March, just so that people have them. Because some seeds, and in some of the informational packets I included, I talked about when to plant things, whether you should plant them indoors or outdoors. So I'm going to send them out a little earlier, and so people have time to adequately and not be crunched for time to plant them indoors and be able to transfer them outside. And I think I'm gonna there's lots of different posts I have further down on my Instagram page, but I'm going to really start ramping up in January of 2022. So January 2022, I'll put out a Google form like I did this year. I'll make a bajillion different posts about it on social media. And this previous year, I also advertised in local school district newsletters. One of the ones that I was able to see was the Pawpaw middle school and high school newsletter. So that they put my a little blip about my project in their paper, and I got a lot of interest from that. So I'm going to advertise in different media outlets, and I'm hoping to talk to some other Michigan title holders or just maybe some communication people at like GVSU, which is where I attend college, to try to get interviews on news channel stations and just try to expand widespread. And yeah, so I'm going to start talking about it in January, get ramped up February, March, going to have them be put together, and at least by the end of March, I'm going to have them all sent out or picked up. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. So how can people, is there a way that people could like donate to seed purchases, or how can they support you in this next wave of growing gardens for growing minds?
Yeah. So over the time I've been like collecting donations for various projects, or even just raising money for the previous Children's Miracle Network that Miss America supported, I used Venmo, and I created a PayPal because a lot of people have interest in that. And personally, PayPal is a way more well-known, secure way of transferring money. So Venmo, PayPal, and family and friends have sent me checks in the mail. Which if people have enough trust in me, I will do that as well. But yeah, pretty much any way that people want to help, I would love that. Or even if they know a local business that's willing to donate packets of seeds, donate. Even I was thinking about adding a branch. So like I work at a greenhouse this summer, and as the season goes on, like fruits and vegetables, the plants they get too big, they get kind of crusty and gross, and they end up getting thrown out, even though they may be perfectly okay to some people, but they're not really okay to sell. I was thinking about maybe doing a actual plant, like going to different greenhouses and having donations and handing out different, like, I know like bell peppers and tomatoes are really common, like plants by a greenhouse. So maybe if they know someone who owns a greenhouse and would want to donate to my cause, I would love that. Yeah, pretty much anything that anybody can think of. I am so open to it, and I would love to chat.
I love that. I love this project. It's so exciting because it hits on kind of all of your facets of your social impact initiative. You're educating like how to grow food. You're inspiring others to be intentional with their diets and with their nutrition, and you're helping people know how to grow their own food. Like it's kind of all the pieces, and I think that's such a great application, and I mean 400 people is an incredible impact for just your first testing year, I think is what you called it. So
yeah,
can't wait.
Shocked. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see how it grows over the next many years. Hopefully it's something you continue on.
Maybe one day it'll become a nonprofit, who knows, but
exactly. We're bringing that energy in, and we're hoping that it does turn into a big, huge nationwide implementation. I think it's something that would do incredibly well. Because I'm thinking about my own community, and I'm thinking about all the kids we talked about in the beginning who have never been exposed to a garden, so they don't know that you can grow cucumbers in your backyard.
And you can plant them. Like if you live in an apartment complex, if you have a balcony or even like an outdoor space outside your complex, you can take one of those big plastic storage tubs. Like radishes do so well. Tomatoes in those big like 5-gallon Home Depot buckets. You can plant a tomato, peppers in there. Like there's just so many different options that you can do. Like as far as gardens, no matter where you live. So.
Oh, I love that. I live in an apartment, so now I'm gonna probably go buy a Home Depot tub. So that, well, maybe not now. I think it might be a little late in season to plant things, but next year. I love that a lot. Okay, that is a lot of incredible information, and you mentioned a lot of it is on your Instagram page. And for everyone watching, I've pinned your Instagram handle. So that people can give you a good follow and check out some of those resources that you mentioned. But for the podcast, can you tell us where we can follow you, how we can keep up with your journey, and how we can continue to support you, not only this next year, but forever?
Yeah. So for everybody listening on the podcast, my Instagram and Facebook handles are exactly the same. And you spell it LAURN. And then all one word, MROCZEK_MAO. So it's the same for Facebook and Instagram, or you can even just type up my either place works. And yeah, I on my Instagram is where I have most of my, like, it's like a very well organized spot for all my things. Yeah, so my Instagram has everything that I've done so far since pretty much a year and a half ago, and it's a great place to get to know me, get to know what I've been doing, follow my journey, and hopefully in this 2022 season, see me be a title holder and represent the title at Miss Michigan, so which is my ultimate goal.
And earn lots of scholarship dollars along the way, so you can keep
Right.
going to school to keep being a nutrition advocate, which is really what it's all about.
Right. Yes. Earning scholarships. So ultimate goal, long version, earn a title, earn scholarships, promote my social impact initiative, grow the projects I've been doing and make more connections, and then represent at Miss Michigan. So it's a big all in one.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love that you have a plan. I like that it ties in kind of what we talked about before. Meal planning, you need a plan. Grocery shopping, you need a plan. Accomplishing the world, you need a plan. So I really like that. I really like getting to know you and all of the phenomenal projects that you've been implementing, not only the growing gardens for growing minds, but also the being a vendor at farmers markets and just talking about education in an accessible way, because I think that's something that I work in the educational realm too, in STEAM education, and I think just the making education accessible is a big hurdle that needs to be addressed. And I love that you're doing it in lots of different ways, because problems, like complex problems, they require some intentional, multifaceted solutions, right? And you're doing that with your different projects. So I love that. I love watching you in a non-creepy way through social media.
I totally get it.
It's nice to be able to see accomplished women doing really cool things across the country. So I'm excited to cheer you on at Miss Southwest. When is that going to be? When can we keep up with that? How will we know how you did? All of those things.
So Miss Southwest is going to be August 21st. So it's in 2 weeks. It's going to be at Lake Michigan College at 2:30 in the afternoon, I think. So, and you can find more information for those of you who are local, or even if you're not local and you're still you might be in town or something, who knows? You can come watch. Yeah, and a lot of it will be on I think it's like the Miss Southwest Michigan Instagram page, and occasionally I'll share a post about it as well. So just stay tuned on my Instagram, and I'll post some information about that as well. But yeah, so I got 2 weeks, and in the meantime, I'm going to keep pushing on with my social impact initiative. I'm going to be interview prepping with a really good friend I've made over the year. And yeah, and I basically also, as you mentioned earlier, like, I just want to say that I want to be the voice in the back of people's heads. Because like you're talking about accessibility, education, making like eating and education more accessible. Like another goal I have is just to be the voice in the back of your head. So like if you're at the store, you're like, maybe I should go get a fruit or something, or maybe I should go check out her Instagram and find a recipe to make or something. Like that is also my ultimate goal, because it's really hard to change behaviors and mindsets. And I'm thinking about doing maybe a little segment on that in the future. Just like how to have a behavior change, and because trying to eat better is not like a flip of the switch. It takes time, it takes effort. It is not an easy process, but being educated, immersing yourself in what you're doing, and also having someone to hold you accountable is a great way to change that behavior and also reach your goals if you want to.
What a happy note to end on. I love that so much. And I think it's such a wise a goal of yours, to be the voice in the back of people's heads, knowing that it is hard to make that behavior change, especially I feel like with food. It's such a touchy subject for some people, and it's complicated that what you've always done, changing that behavior, it can be really challenging. So I love that your goal is to be the voice in the back of people's heads, to be an encouraging and accessible educational resource for them. So thank you so much, Lauren. Like I said, for everyone popping on, you can follow Lauren. I pinned her comment, or I pinned the comment where you can follow her on Instagram. That was hard to say. I don't know why. And then for all of you on the podcast, just rewind a couple of minutes and you can find her follow information as well on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I
Thank you
appreciate
for
getting to
having
know
me.
more about you. I'll
Yeah.
get to know you more and get to know your advocacy work and all of your efforts. So thank you. And I appreciate having you on the show.
Yeah, I am so grateful that you invited me to be on this show. So,
Well,
thank
I
you
think
again.
that's an excellent way to end. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Lauren, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Bye.